This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this April 22nd.
We don't have a date yet, but I'd start, just like a farmer, I'd start tilling the ground right now.
This morning, Governor Holcomb is urging business owners to get a plan in place for their reopening. Plus, with many Hoosiers out of work because of the coronavirus pandemic, not only are families seeing a financial impact, there's also an emotional and psychological impact. Working for you, we spoke with an expert about the best ways to deal with the uncertainty. And social distancing has changed the way that we celebrate big occasions. This morning, see how one community got creative to surprise an Anderson man for his birthday. But first, we want to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by right now. And Todd, I have been looking forward to this day, I feel like, all week. Finally, some warmer temperatures and sunshine. Great combo.
Yeah, the one thing we haven't been able to do so far this spring, Lauren, as you kind of alluded to there, is string a whole bunch of really nice days together for an extended period of time. We just kind of got to pick and choose. And today's one of those days where you have to take advantage and get outside and enjoy the nice weather. It's a little chilly this morning with temperatures that are sitting in the 30s and 40s across the area. In fact, we're below freezing in Richmond as well as Crawfordsville. Still 41 degrees, though, in this city. But these temperatures, even though they're starting off on the cool side, they will warm very, very quickly throughout the course of the day. There's a little bit of cloud cover here to the north. You notice a little bit of precipitation as well. As we work our way throughout the day, though, we are going to be looking at skies going from mostly sunny to partly cloudy, and then eventually later on today, mostly cloudy, even though the clouds increase. We are not expecting any precipitation until probably late tonight, well after sunset. So it's a great Wednesday for us with temperatures that'll be above normal. We'll get to about 69 degrees here in the city, but many locations south and to the west of Indianapolis will climb all the way up into the low 70s. Enjoy today. Tomorrow, rain returns to the forecast. More on that coming up in just a little bit, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at traffic on the northeast side, I-465 and I-69. You can see traffic in this area is pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any crashes or delays. Now I want to get to the latest on the coronavirus outbreak in Indiana. On Tuesday, the state reported its biggest jump in the number of COVID-19 deaths to date. According to the Indiana State Department of Health, there were 61 new coronavirus deaths reported between April 7th and April 20th. A total of 630 Hoosiers have died from the virus. The health department also reports 431 new coronavirus cases. That's fewer new cases than on Monday, but the state says the lower number is due to a technology issue, and it should not be interpreted as a decline in new infections. So far, there have been more than 12,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases in our state. More than 67,000 people have been tested for the coronavirus. 18% of those tests have come back positive. Globally, there are more than 2.5 million reported COVID-19 cases. More than 825,000 of those are right here in the United States. And you can see that more than 4 million Americans have been tested for the virus. The death toll is now at just over 45,000 overall. More than 686,000 people have recovered from COVID-19.
Folks, right now, whether it's restaurants or barbershops, need to be thinking about in the future when we do come online, how will we do business differently?
Preparing for the rebound, Governor Holcomb is urging businesses across the state to get ready to reopen. While no exact date has been set yet, the governor is seeking input from business owners, trade groups, and other business associations. The goal is to compile a list of workplace standards meant to keep people safe and customers safe as the restrictions start to ease. Those standards will then be used as a basis of a new executive order. While the reopening process will not begin until after May 1st, the governor stressed the importance of being well prepared.
We don't have a date yet, but I'd start, just like a farmer, I'd start tilling the ground right now. I'd start preparing right now so you don't wake up when the time is ready. And by the way, your competitors are open up and you're not. So be prepared.
Governor Holcomb also stressed that gradual reopening will be data-driven on COVID-19 deaths and cases in our state. Businesses have until the end of today to submit their plans. As part of our Rebound Indiana effort, RTV6 is hosting a virtual forum with the Department of Workforce Development. Tonight at 7:30, you can join the discussion and ask questions about getting back to work and making those ends meet. It's all on the RTV6 Facebook page and also at theindychannel.com. More than 450,000 Hoosiers have filed filed for unemployment since the stay-at-home order was first put in place here in Indiana. This is placing financial hardships on those individuals, but it's also a mental challenge. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, we know you spoke with an expert on this. What did they have to say?
You know, she tells me that job loss can be linked to many different mental health issues, everything from anxiety to depression, and all of that is just amplified right now because we don't have anything to distract us from what's going on, especially with stay-at-home orders in place. I spoke with psychotherapist Megan Devine, and she says that this can only add to the financial strain and added stress and anxiety for the future. Devine has been doing Q&A forums online during the stay-at-home order, and a lot of people have been asking how to deal with the stressors job loss has added to their lives. She says many people have lost their jobs, also expressing that their employment provided health care for the entire family. Now they're concerned if someone gets sick, there will be no way to pay for it. On top of that, the isolation of staying home to help curb the spread of coronavirus is highlighting all of these worries. Devine says it's also concerning for people because their jobs are associated with their identity. So losing their job because work is such a huge part of their lives is even more of a concern. And Devine says if you do know someone who is struggling with this right now, it's best to just let them know that you are there for them and listen to these concerns. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. It is 5:06. We know these are trying times as many Hoosiers right now are out of work. That's why our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is more important than ever as we work to connect you with job opportunities. And a company in Indianapolis is hiring right now. It's a transportation and logistics company called Direct Connect Logistics. DCL is looking to hire up to 20 new sales reps right now as it expands into a much larger space to accommodate its growing workforce. We spoke with the CEO who tells us due to their focus on the food and beverage industry and getting deliveries to retail establishments like Costco, they are still keeping busy during this pandemic.
With all that is going on, we're really just looking for people with sales experience in the logistics industry, preferably. That way the training is a little easier for us to do since we anticipate lots of it's going to be remote training. We're looking forward to getting the space filled with Hoosiers that are ambitious and self-motivated and have sales experience and are ready to come work for a great company with a great culture.
If you're interested in applying with Direct Connect Logistics, they are doing virtual interviews to keep everyone safe during this pandemic. He also tells me nearly 95% of their office employees are working from home right now. If you want more information on how to apply, you can just head to our website, hiringhoosiers.com. And many other industries are also adding workers immediately. That includes drugstores like Walgreens and CVS, big box retailers, supermarkets, and also pizza chains. For more information, you can just go to hiringhoosiers.com. Right now on hiringhoosiers.com, we have a live job board available. Companies that can post their job openings on that board every day with a complete link to the application process. There are dozens of open positions that you can take advantage of, and just go to hiringhoosiers.com. Celebrating a big life moment the way we normally would, it's not possible right now, whether it be the birth of a baby, a marriage, even a birthday. We've seen a lot of creativity when it comes to celebrating, and our Kelsey Anderson is joining us now with how a group of people made an Anderson man feel really special on his birthday.
A lot of things are looking different right now while we continue to social distance. Even things like birthday parties are now celebrated in a new way. You've probably seen it on social media or even in your own neighborhood. Birthday parades, a way to celebrate and show your love to anyone who might be having a birthday during quarantine. Birthdays that a lot of people won't soon forget.
They're huge. It's one of those ones that you'll remember forever, but just because it happened when it happened and how we did it, but we made the best of it, and I thought it was fabulous. I loved every minute of it.
And we want to know what you think about these birthday parades. Do you think they should stick around once we go back to the new normal, or do you think that they'll stay in the era of social distancing? Head over to Twitter and Facebook to weigh in. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. As we walk out the door this morning, it's a little on the cool side here across parts of the areas. Temperatures are in the 30s and 40s, so you may need a light jacket. But the good news is we'll warm very, very quickly throughout the day today. And here's the temperature trend. That takes us through the 8 o'clock hour with a mainly clear sky. You notice we get up to 37 degrees by 8 o'clock, and that's key because unlike yesterday, when we had those northwesterly winds, we did not see our temperatures moderate much at all throughout the day, even with sunshine. Well, today the winds go more southerly, and that's all the difference in the world. It'll take our temperatures upward very quickly throughout the course of the morning hours today. In fact, by the noon hour, we're looking at temperatures that will be in the upper 50s already with sunny skies, and then high temperatures later on this afternoon will be all the way into the 70s for some of you. It's the warmest day of the week, and it's going to be the last completely dry day of the week. More on that coming up in just a little bit. Lauren.
Todd, thank you. The Indiana Department of Education is laying out plans for next school year. Coming up, what education leaders say could be ahead for students next year. And a new report says the first U.S. COVID-19 related death was earlier than previously thought. When it happened and why officials say they missed it. It is 5:11. We'll be right back.
Be a Millionaire tonight on ABC.
Welcome back. It is 5:14, covering education this morning. The Indiana Department of Education is giving an update on what schooling could look like in the coming months. Superintendent of Public Instruction Jennifer McCormick laid out some of the information during a briefing on Tuesday. Right now, it's not a lot is set in stone. Remote learning is a way of life for many students and teachers right now, and that's expected to remain the same for summer school. As for next school year, McCormick says they are looking at a variety of options.
We're going to go right into reentry for 2021. What does it look like? Well, it's going to look back to normal, which I think is pie in the sky, or a little bit like today, where we are just pretty much remote, or a hybrid of you have some on site, some virtual. We've had people talk about shift splitting, where you have a first shift of school and a second shift of school, which is very tricky and very expensive. You have a roll-in entry where you bring different kids back at different times.
McCormick also says the Department of Education is launching a reentry advisory group to help schools think about what to plan for when buildings reopen, like needed supplies or changes to staff training and gathering protocols. Meanwhile, 2 local colleges are working to rebound from COVID-19. Purdue University says if the government allows colleges and universities to reopen in August, the school will accept students on campus in typical numbers. In a letter to Purdue students and faculty, President Mitch Daniels says that the number shows that college students are not typically high risk for death from COVID-19. Daniel says the bigger risk is students passing the virus to older faculty members and staff on campus. He says the school will consider new policies and practices that keep these groups separate or minimize the contact between them. In Bloomington, with the 2020 college football season in doubt due to the COVID-19 pandemic, IU announcing changes to its football season ticket renewal policies. Those changes include an extension of the season ticket renewal deadline to May 15th. Ticket holders will also have the option to either receive a refund for canceled games or have credit given towards future ticket purchases. In addition, you can make a 5% down payment plan for the football season tickets, with the remaining balance due in 2 equal payments in July and August. All right, Todd, we got to get a forecast for our Wednesday, and we have a pretty good one on tap after we get through this morning.
Yeah, you know, this morning's a little on the cool side, but yeah, temperatures warm really quickly throughout the day today, Lauren. It's dry. It's going to be a really nice spring day for us any way you look at it. I mentioned those chilly temperatures, and you did as well. And there is a frost advisory that's in place across parts of the area in the lighter blue. It's a freeze warning for some of those counties you see in the darker shades of purple that are off to the north and east. These go till about 8 o'clock in the morning. Once the sun comes up, these temperatures quickly get above freezing. And this is not our first go-round this month into the frost advisories and freeze warnings, but the growing season, since it officially has started, the National Weather Service still issuing it, so I just thought I'd point it out to you really quickly here this morning. Here are those temperatures: 33 in Greencastle, 41 in Indy, 36 in Bloomington. This morning, there's a little way of cloud cover trying to build in across northern locations, and there's a little bit of returns coming in on the radar, which is showing some snow. Most of that is probably not reaching the ground, and even if it is going to be moving off towards our east. Will not impact us here in central Indiana, but you look off to our west and then even down to our south, you notice more in the way of rain. This is a developing storm system that is down to our southwest, and this is what's eventually going to make its way across the southern half of the country tomorrow, but it's going to be close enough to give us a glancing blow and bring some rain back into the forecast. So take advantage of today. Notice the temperature jump into the mid to upper 50s already by the noon hour. High temperatures eventually climb into the upper 60s. Many of you get to that 70-degree mark in southern locations today. And you'll notice the clouds increasing a little bit throughout the day today, but we remain dry this evening if you want to fire up the grill. Yesterday, it was probably going to be tough to keep those burners lit with all those gusty winds. Not an issue today. Temperatures will be in the 60s, so not only can you grill outside, you could probably eat outside on the patio with the family if you choose to do so. Tomorrow, probably not going to be a great day for us across the area. Unless you're an allergy sufferer like me, this rain will help to knock some of that tree pollen that's really high down. But we could potentially see about a quarter to a half an inch of rain, with some of the heaviest of the rain being across southern locations here, a little closer to that center of low pressure that I mentioned that will be passing to our south. But everybody should get into some rainfall tomorrow, especially the first half of the day into the early afternoon, and then throughout the remainder of the day, we'll probably taper things off to some scattered showers. But Thursday is definitely the wettest day in our extended forecast, but we do have some rain chances over the weekend as well. And look at those temperatures, Lauren. Not the best over the weekend, as we'll drop back down into the 50s both Saturday and Sunday.
Todd, thank you. Here is a live look right now at traffic on the east side. I-70 here in Sherman Drive. You can see traffic here is traveling up to speed in those westbound lanes. Eastbound again closed for that INDOT project. The westbound lanes set to close this week. Right now it's looking like Friday morning, so keep that in mind if this is part of your commute on the east side. Let's take a look across town right now. 465 here, live look near the Sam Jones Expressway. Traffic is moving along up to speed both northbound and southbound. No delays to slow you down. New information this morning. We've now learned the first U.S. death from COVID-19 was 3 weeks earlier than previously thought. Health officials in Northern California say that 2 people who died in their homes on February 6th and 17th had the coronavirus. At the times of their deaths, COVID testing was only available through the CDC and restricted to individuals with known travel history and those who sought medical care for specific symptoms. The agency recently tested tissue samples from their autopsies. Previously, the first known U.S. death from the virus was thought to be in Kirkland, Washington on February 29th. The new information supports the claim that COVID-19 was in the U.S. far earlier than reported. COVID-19 may give new meaning to the phrase home for the holidays. Dr. Robert Redfield, the head of the CDC, tells the Washington Post that a second wave of the coronavirus later this year could be, quote, more difficult than the current strand. Redfield also said the country should prepare to deal with both the flu epidemic and COVID-19 epidemic at the same time. This year, the CDC estimates that there have been 24,000 flu-related deaths over an 8-month time period. For COVID-19, there are just around 45,000 in just 2 months. Redfield says that's why we need to not only flatten the curve, but also get our hospitals ready for what's to come. It's 5:20. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's typically a big day for community volunteer projects outdoors. While many of those events were canceled, it can still be a day full of lessons for your family at home. Wisconsin Environment has a list of 50 activities on its website for kids to make a difference at home. They include learning about solutions to climate change, ways to reduce waste, and how to protect bees and other wildlife. Earth Day Network is also encouraging 24 hours of digital efforts to save the planet. They have information about digital Earth Day events happening all around the world right now on their website. A hopeful Hoosier gives away their stimulus check to help small business stay open. Coming up, how the owner is reacting to the kind gesture. And the U.S. Senate has agreed on a $480 billion package for small businesses, hospitals, and testing. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll break down what's in that deal. It's 5:21. We'll be right back. Only on RTV6 News. Welcome back. It is 5:25 here on your Wednesday. Here's a live look over on the west side, I-465 near West 46th Street. Traffic is picking up. You can see lots of headlights there on your screen, but everything's traveling up to speed. No delays in this area to slow you down.
Just ready to shut the doors. We'll see in a few months when everything clears, which probably would have put me into, I hope not bankruptcy, but pretty darn close.
Kate Sargent has been the owner of Diner on 12th in Mishawaka for 2 years now. But because of the coronavirus, she had to lay off over half of her employees, and she only gets to see her regulars through a drive-through window. Sargent says that not having contact every day was wearing her down. But that all changed last week when the mail came. And it was a check and a letter from a retired person who wanted to donate their stimulus check to help support some of their favorite businesses. The note only signed a hopeful Hoosier. Sargent said that the generous gesture came came right on time, but ultimately, it's not even about the money.
This person made me know that I can do this. I can go on, I can open every day, I can get by with shouting out, hey, how you doing through the window? And being content with that, making sure that they've got the best food that I can give to them, and knowing that soon we're going to get back to those times that we cherish. Hopeful Hoosier in Mishawaka, you're my hero.
Well, Sargent says you don't have to give away your stimulus check to help. Liking the Facebook page of a business or buying a small item can really help our local businesses and restaurants get by right now. All right, Todd, that is a great message there. You've been doing your Takeout Tuesdays. We're trying to support local business through our We're Open Indie project. So a lot of ways that Hoosiers can help out.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can help out, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be with money or monetarily. You could just, help your neighbor out with stuff in their yard now that the grass is growing. Maybe they can't get out. So, yeah, everybody's helping everybody, which is great. All right, outside right now, we're dealing with cooler temperatures and a little bit of high, thin cloud cover, but that'll be moving out throughout the course of the morning. And with plenty of sunshine by 9 a.m., we're already up into the 40s. And how about this? High temperatures today going all the way into the 60s for everybody, and some of you may even climb up into the 70s later on this afternoon. A beautiful spring day for us. Enjoy today because more rain is returning tomorrow. More on that coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Indiana. The time is 5:27. Stay with us. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Work weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, several Hoosiers still have not received their stimulus checks, and they're getting an error message when they try and track it online. Call 6 Investigates is finding out why and what you need to do to get your money. And many families are facing economic hardships due to the coronavirus. That's also placing a strain on mental health. Working for you this morning, we're talking to an expert to find the best ways to cope. But before we get to those top stories, we do want to say good morning to you on this Wednesday. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by with a check of today's forecast. And Todd, maybe for your mental health today, you'll want to get outside because it's going to be a beautiful day.
I encourage you to get outside. I took this picture of the War Memorial. I think it was last year or the year before that, and I just walked past it the other day. And these trees are in bloom right now as well. And today will be a good opportunity, I was thinking, to walk past the War Memorial or anywhere in your neighborhoods here all across central Indiana because it's going to be warm. It's going to be bright. So have the sunglasses handy. You'll need to have the sunscreen handy as well. Even though the temperatures are still in the 60s and 70s, the sun getting stronger and stronger, and you can easily get a sunburn, and you'll have the light jacket this morning, but you'll definitely be able to shed that jacket later on this afternoon. 30s and 40s for temperatures right now, so some of you are hovering right around the freezing mark or just below. That's why you need the jacket this morning. There's a little bit of cloud cover to the north. If you're seeing that cloud cover, as soon as the sun comes up, we'll start to thin that out very quickly, and we'll be left with mostly sunny skies this morning, turning partly cloudy this afternoon with high temperatures for everybody today, Lauren, getting up to right around that 70-degree mark, and that puts us all above normal.
Todd, thank you. Here's a look right now in the downtown area. I-65 and I-70 at the north split. Traffic here is moving along up to speed, as you can see. No delays. The only issue we have really is that eastbound lanes are closed here of I-70 all the way over to the east side for that NDOT project. We'll, of course, keep you updated on that. Set to open in mid-May. The opposite direction westbound set to close later this week. Now to the very latest on the coronavirus outbreak. The death toll in Indiana has risen above 600. In the latest report, the Indiana State Department of Health reported 61 new deaths. The state is also reporting 431 new coronavirus cases. That brings the total to more than 12,000. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 75,000 Americans have recovered from this disease. When it comes to federal funding to directly help people and families, Call 6 Investigates has been digging into concerns. Some people are not getting their stimulus checks, and they're getting an error-type message when they check the IRS portal. Sandra Fink and her husband own a wedding venue down in Brown County. With no money coming in, they were very much looking forward to their stimulus check. But when they check the IRS website, it says payment status not available.
I just want to know what's going on. If it said, you're not going to get yours for another month and it's going to come by a paper check, that's fine. Just to know something.
Well, Call 6 Investigates has been reaching out to the IRS on behalf of Hoosiers since Thursday morning. We've called and emailed half a dozen times, and we found information on the IRS website that says you could get the payment status not available message for several reasons, including the IRS has not finished processing your 2019 return or the application doesn't have your data. You may also not have received a stimulus check because you're not eligible because you make too much money, your social security number is invalid, or you were claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. Sandra Fink says she doesn't fall into any of these categories and she's hoping to get her money soon. More than 450,000 Hoosiers have filed for unemployment since the stay-at-home order was first put in place. And this is placing a financial hardship on those individuals, but also a mental challenge. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, I know you spoke with an expert on this topic. What did they have to say?
You know what? She says that job loss can be linked to many different mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. And all of those are amplified right now because we don't have anything to distract us from what's going on. I spoke with psychotherapist Megan Devine, and she says not only is there the financial strain and added stress, but also anxiety for the future. Devine has been doing Q&A forums online during the stay-at-home order, and a lot of people have been asking how to deal with the stressors job loss has added to their lives. She says many people have lost their jobs, also expressed that their employment provided health care for the entire family. Now they're concerned if someone does get sick, there will be no way to pay for it. On top of that, the isolation of staying at home to help curb the spread of coronavirus is highlighting all of these worries.
But also a loss of identity. Like, who am I without this job? And even that feeling gets extra highlighted now because there's not a lot of ways to distract or to say, well, I'm a person who does this on the weekend. Well, not right now, you don't.
And Devine says the loss of routine is also jarring for people, and adding job loss to that makes it a much harder adjustment. And Devine says if you know someone who is struggling with job loss right now, the important thing to do is just know that you are there for them if they need to talk to someone about their concerns. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Another round of economic stimulus is making its way through Congress. It's worth more than $480 billion, most of which will help small businesses. This as some governors are preparing to reopen this week. ABC's Alex Perche is in Washington with the details.
In Atlanta, Mary Moore is doing the best to keep her business afloat. She owns Cook's Warehouse stores. She's already had to lay off 43 employees.
They rely on this business for their livelihoods, and I rely on them.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are hopeful a $484 billion stimulus bill will help small business owners just like Mary. Roughly $383 billion of it earmarked for small business programs, including the Paycheck Protection Program, which drew criticism after an Associated Press investigation reported at least 75 companies helped by the previous relief plan are so big they're publicly traded. The Trump administration says it will ask for that money back.
Obviously, Shake Shack was not alone in being a big company that got money in this. Are you going to be asking a request?
Another $75 billion for healthcare providers and $25 billion for coronavirus testing, something critical to the president's reopening guidelines. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo says in a meeting Tuesday, the president pledged to help the state ramp up testing.
New York, we now do on average of about 20,000 tests per day. Our goal, which is very aggressive and ambitious, was to double the 20,000 to get to 40,000 tests per day.
Illinois' governor says it could now be mid-May before cases peak in his state. Chicago's mayor says stay-at-home orders could extend into June. But in South Carolina, restrictions have been lifted at beaches, crowds flocking in, and Georgia's governor preparing to open gyms, bowling alleys, even barbershops by the end of the week. The president's coronavirus task force health experts saying the states need to meet the criteria before lifting restrictions. Still,
so if there's a way that people can social distance and do those things, then they can do those things. I don't know how, but people are very creative.
Now, neither Georgia nor South Carolina has reported a steady 2-week decline in COVID-19 cases, which was a part of those White House guidelines. The worry there being that if they reopen, it could bring about a surge in COVID cases. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
As part of the Rebound Indiana effort, RTV6 is hosting a virtual forum with the Department of Workforce Development tonight at 7:30. You can join in on the discussion, ask questions about getting back to work and making ends meet. It's all on the RTV6 Facebook page and also at theindychannel.com. We know these are trying times as many Hoosiers are out of work, and that's why our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is more important than ever as we work to connect you with job opportunities. Even in this global pandemic, there are companies in our community that are hiring right now. One of those companies is Indianapolis-based transportation and logistics company Direct Connect Logistics. DCL is looking to hire up to 20 new sales reps right now as it expands into a much larger space to accommodate its growing workforce. We spoke with the CEO, who tells us due to their focus on food and beverage industry and getting deliveries to retail spaces like Costco, they are still busy during this pandemic.
So what we are looking for is self-motivated, highly ambitious, highly competitive people that may have books of business, that have been in the transportation industry before, that are looking for a sales opportunity. We're base salary plus commission, and the base salary minimum is going to be $36,000, but it can go up depending on how much experience one person has.
If you are interested in applying with Direct Connect Logistics, they are doing virtual interviews to keep everyone safe during this pandemic. He also tells me that nearly 95% of their office employees are working from home right now. If you want to learn more information on how to apply, you can head to our website, hiringhoosiers.com. Celebrating a big life moment the way we normally would is not possible right now, whether it be the birth of a baby, a marriage, even a birthday. We've seen a lot of creativity, though, when it comes to celebrating. And so our Kelsey Anderson is joining us now with how a group of people made one Anderson man feel very special on his birthday. Kelsey.
Bells, horns, music, signs. It seems to be the new way we're celebrating our loved ones. And for Cooper Young, this small way to celebrate means so much. This weekend, Cooper Young celebrated a birthday differently than any other.
How old are you today?
41. Cooper was born with Down syndrome, so his immune system is compromised, and he hasn't been able to leave his house for more than a month. So his family and his friends found a way to celebrate him with a drive-by birthday party.
This year I was wondering how we were going to do that. It's just the three of us.
Cooper's mom, Sherry Thomas, says they always make a big celebration of birthdays, and she's thankful everyone could come together for a surprise parade, even though she had to tell him the parade was coming because Cooper likes to hug.
I told him a little bit earlier we were doing a parade and he couldn't hug anybody because otherwise he would want everybody to get out and hug him. And so he couldn't do that, but he loved the parade, right, Coop? Yeah.
And although the birthday party was small and only lasted a few minutes, Thomas says it's something she and Cooper will never forget.
They're huge. It's one of those ones that you'll remember forever, but just because it happened when it happened and how we did it, but we made the best of it, and I thought it was fabulous. I loved every minute of it, so I wanted to hug everybody.
There has been a lot of discussion on whether or not these new ways to celebrate should stick around once we all go back to normal. So head over to my Twitter and Facebook pages to weigh in on what you think about these birthday parades. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. Today's one of those days that during the week that you need to take advantage of and get outside because it is going to be warm and it is going to be dry. That is the good news. So maybe you're thinking about a walk through the neighborhood or a run through the neighborhood, and we are going to be good. No alerts for you today. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You don't have to worry about any storms or humidity. So you are good to go whether you are walking out the door this morning or later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. So the weather's going to cooperate. The one thing that you may run into a bit of an issue for some of you, including myself, is allergies right now. I keep waking up with runny nose and sneezes, and my eyes have been very itchy, and that's all because of the tree pollen. It's at a moderate to high level, and it'll be an issue here throughout the day. Today, we'll get a little bit of a reprieve from that tomorrow as rain re-enters the forecast. I'll kind of knock it down briefly. We'll talk more about those rain chances heading our way coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Abbott Laboratories is issuing a warning after healthcare workers discovered their coronavirus tests were producing false negatives. Straight ahead, how the company is addressing this problem. And a company in Kentucky has come up with a product that's keeping workers on the job. Coming up, how they pivoted production to save their factory and to save lives. It's 5:43. We'll be right back.
Simparica Trio.
A warning this morning, some rapid coronavirus tests are producing false negative results. The problem was first discovered by pathologists at the Cleveland Clinic. Abbott Laboratories says the problem lies in a viral transport media. That's where the testing swabs are stored until they can be analyzed. Company says the faulty tests were used for about 2 weeks before the problem was uncovered. Abbott is now telling clinicians to insert swabs directly into the testing machine without storing them in a transport media first. Experts say the glitch is expected when new tests are rolled out quickly in an emergency situation. Meanwhile, the FDA has authorized the first at-home tests for coronavirus. They're called Pixel by LabCorp COVID-19 test home kit collection kits. The tests allow patients to collect nasal swab samples at home and mail them in for results. According to the FDA, LabCorp will make the tests available for most states in the coming weeks, but some people will need to have the doctor's order to be able to get the at-home test kits. What started off as a project to save jobs could also be saving lives. Precision Mechanical in Winchester, Kentucky usually engineers one-of-a-kind products for factories. But when businesses started to slow, they thought about creating one-of-a-kind product that will be used in hospitals. That idea turned into a custom intubation box. It protects healthcare workers who would normally perform the procedure without a plastic barrier between themselves and patients. It's a dangerous task in the midst of this pandemic. The company says the orders for the boxes have not only helped to save lives, but also the plant. If you're a first responder or a healthcare worker, McDonald's wants to thank you by keeping you well fed. Starting today, the fast food chain is offering free meals to frontline workers. Healthcare workers, police officers, firefighters, and paramedics can get a free thank you meal every day for the next 2 weeks through May 5th. The offer is good any time of day. You just have to show your work badge or your ID or be in uniform. McDonald's says the meals will be served in a Happy Meal box in hopes of bringing a smile along with some delicious food. All right, the time right now is 5:43. We got to get a check of our forecast with Todd Clausen. Todd, today would be a day I would love to sit outside on a patio and at a restaurant and enjoy some food, but maybe people can just do that in their own backyards.
Yeah, you know, if you want to grill out in your backyard, today is going to be a great day for that. Probably the best day we have remaining this week weather-wise, although Friday isn't terrible. It's just not going to be as good as it is going to be for the day today. Now, the big change in the forecast is the wind across the area, as the wind speeds have come down from yesterday when they were pretty gusty, and the wind direction has changed. And the reason why I point this out is because the southerly wind will help to warm our temperatures very quickly throughout the day today. Yesterday, even though we had the sunshine, we had that northwesterly wind. That's a chilly wind direction. It's tough to warm the temperatures if that wind's out of the northwest, and so that's why we stayed only in the 50s. But rain returns, as I mentioned, for tomorrow, but the overall trend here is going to be for up and down temperatures over the course of the next few days. 30s and 40s across the area, with 129 now appearing there in Crawfordsville, with the update coming in here at the top of the hour shortly. So you are below freezing. For some of you, there is a frost advisory that is in place, but all those temperatures are going to warm very, very quickly throughout the course of the day today. We're dealing with skies that are mainly clear right now, although you do notice a little more in the way of cloud cover across the northern portions of the state. Then throughout the day, we will see the clouds increase a little bit, but all that precipitation should stay out of the area. So it's a good day for us. Mostly sunny this morning, going partly cloudy this afternoon, and then eventually it does go overcast as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour. But look at the temperature, 69 degrees here in Indy, many locations to the south. You will see temperatures climb all the way up into the 70s later on today. Tomorrow, rain returns to the forecast. The rain's the most widespread throughout the morning hours, and then throughout the afternoon and evening, we'll start to taper the rain off to some scattered showers, as you see on our graph there. Anytime you have 80 to 90% coverage, obviously that means most of the area. And with the rain and the clouds around, temperatures tomorrow are going to be a lot cooler. We're talking about highs only in the mid-50s for your afternoon highs. Now, here's TrueCast. You notice the rain comes in overnight by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Rain's falling across a good portion of the area. The further south you are, this is where we're going to get into some heavier rainfall totals during the course of the morning and throughout the duration of this entire storm system as it moves to our south. The further north you are, the lighter the rain, the more scattered it becomes. Indy Metro falls kind of right in the middle of things, but we're looking probably at about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rainfall across the area. That is not enough to cause any flooding or major issues. It's just more of an inconvenience, going to prevent you from getting outside as you would on a normal day. But we could use the rainfall across the area a little bit, helps knock that pollen down. And then we get back into the sunshine on Friday with a temperature of 64 degrees. The weekend, though, Lauren, not the best. There'll be dry hours. There's no doubt about that, but it's going to be chilly with high temperatures again, only in the 50s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, we're probably all guilty of letting the mail pile up from time to time. This morning, the IRS is taking that to another level. It is open. It has so much unopened mail, rather, that had to rent some trailers to store it all in. It's a perfect storm that's led to the backlog. Many employees are working from home, so they're not there to open the mail, and other workers have had to switch gears to get those stimulus funds out. The IRS will allow people to send some documents via fax or email to help alleviate some of this mail problem. Be sure to check the website for those updates. A New York teacher is missing his students, so after the break, how he's going to monumental lengths to bring them all back together. It's 5:52. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Streaming live on all your devices.
Welcome back. The streets of Port Washington, New York have not been this crowded in a while, but people came out to cheer on Alex Eisen. He marked his 30th birthday by running 30 miles. The fourth grade teacher made sure to circle his elementary school at least 5 times. Through a GoFundMe page, he's raised more than $10,000 for healthcare workers in New York hospitals.
You know, it's unsettling times, and it's a time where we have to look out for one another.
Well, this was the first time that some of the students and teachers got to see each other in a while. Eisen's elementary school has been closed since March 13th because of the coronavirus. That is awesome. All right, Todd, if people are heading out for a run today, it's going to be a pretty good one to get outside and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll work up a sweat pretty quickly today, as temperatures later on this afternoon will be in the 60s and 70s for some of you. This morning, though, it's a different story. It's a little on the chilly side with temperatures that are in the 30s and 40s, and you see a few snow returns there across northern portions of the area. That is not reaching the ground, so you don't have to worry about that. In fact, most of the area is clear. So it's a chilly start, mild finish. You'll notice the clouds increase throughout the day today, but we will be dry. That is the good news, as that high temperature climbs up to 69 degrees. And today is really the last day that we really have no rain in the forecast at all, or precipitation for that matter, for the next few days. We'll talk more about the extended forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you this morning. Thousands of Hoosiers relying on unemployment benefits to keep their lives moving. I'll know at 6 o'clock why they say the process to apply is a full-time job in itself. We'll be right back.